Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey movie is facing a lot of backlash for reasons that include casting choices, the use of modern American dialogue, and costume design. In this video, we're gonna be looking at how the internet is reacting to it, starting with the official countdown trailer. At the time of recording, it has about 7 million views, about 80,000 likes, and over 700,000 dislikes. This is the worst ratio I've ever seen for a Christopher Nolan movie. Now let's take a look at the comments section. Tedria70 said, "The face that emptied 1,000 seats." Hell on Earth 17 said, "If I were in the hospital with all limbs broken, lying on the bed, and this movie showed up on the screen, I would still find the strength to turn it off." North London Forever said, "First time I've ever walked out of a trailer." Before Rabbas said, "The funniest part is that comment section is still open." XX Hendarson said, "I paid nothing to see this trailer, and I already want my money back." Counterattack said, "The face that launched 1,000. Huh?" The Patriarchy said, "Look at me. I'm the Helen now." Giga Crafty said, "Shout out to Universal for leaving the comments on." Jiminy Cricket said, "The face that launched 1,000. She." Black Snow said, "It's like one of those 2006 funny parodies, but without the fun." Allison said, "I would never imagine that I would enjoy the comments more than the trailer." Costilla said, "I'm surprised they forgot the rap music." Master Dorian said, "The movie that launched 1,000 memes." Aiden said, "Now we just need Pedro Pascal as Aphrodite." Mr. Jack Spleen said, "My dad owns a dealership. Son of Odysseus, probably." Andrew Troy said, "The Odyssey Downtown LA edition." Ostatni Tabor said, "There is more Greek in the yogurt in my fridge than in this movie." Noah JP said, "I prefer the original working title for the film, The Odyssey, Daddy's Home." Mr. Hopper said, "Yo, daddy ain't coming home, boy." Homer, 725 BC. Patrick said, "This makes Meet the Spartans look like a documentary." David the Design said, "Your daddy sure ain't coming home, boy." WSMS said, "The loser keeps Helen." Markodash said, "I think Zeus needs to take a paternity test." Newsmania said, "I won't even pirate this." Metal Search Maniac said, "Universal left the comments open to troll Christopher Nolan." Grafted Branch Homestead said, "Thank you, Hollywood, for ensuring that I spend time outside this summer and not watching TV." Slosher said, "Sisyphus was cursed by the gods to watch this movie on repeat." Jinx Platoon said, "The only thing missing, Pedro Pascal as one of the sirens." The Peja said, "Homer has been dead for nearly 3,000 years, and this trailer still managed to make him roll over in his grave." Coconut Juice said, "The Odyssey, nope, The Audacity." Abbenhammer said, "If they played this on a plane, I would still walk out." Krong Pipop said, "The Odyssey by Homer, nope, The Odyssey by Homer Simpson." Sumi Troy said, "I've watched YouTube ads with more emotional depth." Chrysalid said, "This trailer feels like it should be at the beginning of Tropic Thunder 2. Sebastian said, "The most expensive school project ever." Spanish Patriot said, "Hollywood is fighting piracy by making movies that are not even worth pirating." Don't care about username. As a Greek, I can't wait for the Maasai tribe movie featuring Ryan Gosling. The Bronze Age, the Bronx Age. Helena of Detroit. Jaren Tannen said, "I can't wait for Black Panther 2 starring Jonah Hill." This guy said, "The Odyssey, Black Friday edition." Now, regardless of what you think about the trailer or the movie itself, you have to admit the comments are hilarious. There's also this video by Al Jokes about how they cast The Odyssey.
Do we have any women representation in the movie? Yes, Anne Hathaway. Beautiful, that probably makes up for any bad female casting we have. All right, black representation. Yes, Lupita. I said black, not Mexican, but we could probably use some of that. She is black. Really? Lupita? What's her last name? I'm not even gonna try. Oh, okay, she's black. Oh, okay, excellent. Men, boo, boo, right, but seriously, are there men in this movie? Obviously, we need somebody to carry the movie, obviously. Elliot Page. That could work. Plus the director, I believe, has worked with Elliot Page in the past, so there's like a connection there. Has he worked with Elliot? Yes, in Inception, or, well, I guess that would have been Ellen Page. Rapers. Rapers? That's supposed to be rappers. Are there any rapers in this movie? Probably a studio executive or two, but no, that says rappers. Rappers. Yes, and we got Travis Scott. What?
The comments in that video are pretty funny too. Radiv Nallery said, Where were the jokes? This is just journalism. Let's be honest, officials said it's like Nolan lost a bet or said yes to a stupid challenge. Trip Call said it's such a diverse cast, they forgot to cast anyone who's Greek. Allstrike said, as a Greek, thank you for putting all my thoughts in one video. Here's how people on Twitter reacted to this. Here's a tweet by Discussing Film. Tom Holland explains why he says dad instead of father in the Odyssey.
Way of speaking. I mean, you say dad rather than father.
Sure.
I mean, what's the thinking behind that?
Because I wouldn't have even said father back in the day, would I? I would have been in Greek, so it's no less correct.
Miranda Rose replied, Tom, my pop's finna pull up at the crib. Pattinson, you out here crying for a daddy, you ain't even know, bro. BBFC said, that's actually a fair point if you're being historically accurate. They'd all be speaking Greek anyway. Roman Helmet Guy replied, the Greek is literally patir, which I think means father. T Subkit said, I'm going to repeat what I've said elsewhere. He's deliberately missing the point. When I'm watching an epic movie, I want the dialogue to carry the gravitas and depth befitting the source material the story originates from. If I'm watching a movie about the siege of Osaka, I don't want the samurai speaking like they're from Akihabara. Nor do I want knights at Agincourt talking like road men. It's that simple. George Alexopoulos said, yeah, they should have hired Greek actors and delivered all the lines in Greek. Bosman said, is there a term for this specific take that is often shared? And then there's this meme here. You can accept dragons, elves, and talking trees, but you can't accept a 2021 BMW 5 Series with optional heated seating. Why are you so bigoted? Dan Vask replied, this same argument can justify putting in the movie words like, yo, what's up, lol, disingenuous. Stump to Goal said, can't wait for him to drop a yo pops in ancient Greece. C Minor said, he's technically right though, the logic is flawless, wrap it up. 8-Eyed quote tweeted, go on and slime me, bro. Benzo Kazooie quote tweeted, this defense sucks because at that point, why not say pops instead of dad? Why not say bro? Why not say 6'7"? It's not in Greek anyway, so why does it matter? David Knack said, other than the fact that this is pure midwittery, the word father is literally the same word as the Greek patir. It's the same Indo-European root, so yes, you would have said father back then. Ant Speak said, such disingenuous bullshit. The use of the word father is a traditional rendering in historical and biblical dramas. Audiences instinctively associate father with older, more formal settings, whereas dad is a distinctly modern, informal term. There's a reason this approach has been used in translations of ancient works in Hollywood productions for decades. If Christopher Nolan thinks modern English is fitting, then why stop at dad? He might as well have some of the characters say, yo dog, sup. It's a complete lack of filmmaking self-awareness. Yes, I'm saying that about Christopher Nolan in this case. Fund Pulse tweeted, Christopher Nolan says his version of the Odyssey is for modern audiences. Is this the final blow for the movie?
People bring, when you look at this world, when you look at the ancient world, people tend to view it in weird ways. There's a lot of cultural prejudice. There's a lot of, they're sort of elevating it because it's old, whatever it is. When you go to the poem, what you find is something that's really earthy and grounded and accessible. And so for me, in building the world of the film, what I talk to all the actors about is like, I want to center it on that and make it feel very fresh for modern audiences.
MJ Tomko replied, I already wasn't going to watch it. You don't have to pile on more woke. Aftermath just posted this picture of Homer Simpson. A reliable hearsay posted this image of Helen of Detroit. Bernard T. Joy said, let's make a film about the ancient world that has nothing whatsoever to do with the ancient world because we're better people, so everything should be exclusively about us. T. Subkit said, every time I hear modern audience, it never ends well with the parties involved. Paul Revere's Horse said, next up for Nolan, Owen Wilson is Kunta Kinte. Deadeye quote tweeted the post by Phantom Pulse. He didn't cast a single Greek person. Eve said, Nolan was fine with taking that $6.5 million from Greece though, taking advantage of a law that subsidizes movies that promote Greek culture. Given these interviews, I genuinely think we should sue this pompous midwit for our money back. What he's doing isn't promoting Greek culture, as that money was meant to help pay for. It's desecrating it in the name of woke ideology, and we want it back. Those funds could have been allotted anywhere else. John Delaros quote tweeted, oh no, he did the meme. This movie is cooked. John William Sherritt quote tweeted, "The Odyssey's pre-release tracking indicates it's looking at $100 million opening weekend, which will be the third highest opening weekend haul for a Nolan film, behind only his Batman sequels. It feels like there's a big disconnect between hate for the film on X and reality." And then we have this tweet by Paul Tassi. "The Odyssey backlash is transphobia and racism under the guise of historical accuracy. That's it." George Alexopoulos replied to this, "Not including Greeks in a movie about Greeks is actually racist. Casting women in male roles is actually sexist. Hope this helps." And then we have Powder replying to the tweet, "People are hiding it." Another response by Christopher Nolan says the online backlash to the Odyssey comes with the territory. He said these conversations that happen before people see the film, they're always irrelevant because no one having them knows what the film actually is yet. And then we have George Alexopoulos replied, "How do you know this shit sandwich tastes bad? You haven't even taken a bite yet." Release Radar said, "Did Nolan just dunk on y'all?" Mike Gabriel replied, "I don't need to see the movie to know this crime against humanity is a costume in the movie. This shot alone is enough for me to never watch this movie." So discussing film tweeted, "Christopher Nolan explains why he cast Travis Scott in The Odyssey." This guy said, "Comparing Homer's epic oral poetry to rap is the most pretentious film student take Nolan has ever had." Dre replied, "Odyssey is about to go on a rap battle with Poseidon to save his life." Noli replied, "Travis after defeating the Trojans." Matt Green replied, "Dang, this movie is gonna suck, isn't it?" Vengeance of Seth replied, "The only thing that could save this movie is a Monty Python script." Dr. Harambe's Coase replied, "Has Christopher Nolan been replaced by a pod person? Because there's no way that Inception, The Dark Knight, and Interstellar were made by the same guy that's spewing this slop." This guy replied, "I just wish they got a better rapper if that's the case." November Rain replied, "The Trojan horse arrived playing diss tracks featuring DJ Iliad." Master Cheeks quote tweeted, "You know you've messed up when the freaking Netflix Witcher series does fantasy better than you." Big Kahuna quote tweeted, "Great idea, and picked the worst rapper ever to do it." And then we also have this tweet by Discussing Film, "New look at John Bernthal and Tom Holland in Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey." Rafaz replied, "For a Greek mythology film, they look like they're from Ohio hunting game." George Overyoung replied, "Straight out of a costume store." Ravi replied, "Didn't know God of War live adaptation is coming." George replied, "Get in my Cybertruck, son. We're going elk hunting." Emerald Apple replied, "These outfits just look so comical. It looks like generic Woodland cosplay sets you get from Temu. Actually, never mind. These look worse than Temu." Mingu replied, "Does Hollywood only have like 10 actors?" This guy quote tweeted that tweet by Discussing Film. "Nothing about this image looks even vaguely Greek." Joss quote tweeted, "I think this is a flashback scene from The Bear when they first found the restaurant." The Midgar Chronicler quote tweeted, "God of War TV show is looking weirder day by day." So yeah, what do you guys think about The Odyssey? Personally, I'm probably not gonna watch it because I'm broke. And even if I had the money, I probably still wouldn't spend it on something I'm not sure would even be entertaining to me. I feel like a lot of things have already broken the immersion for me, but that's just my opinion. That said, considering Nolan's reputation, he'll probably still do well at the box office, I think. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you around.